Hello, happy Tuesday. I am jumping on to do my live to come and talk to you guys about some good career related stuff this evening. Trying to get myself all set up. Anyway, you saw the title. I'm going to be talking about to lean in or not. And I know you wonder what that means, and we'll get right into it after a brief message. So come on into the room, say hello when you get in so maybe I can see who's on the live. You know how that goes. Sometimes it works okay every now and then sometimes not so much. But at any rate, if you say hello, I promise to say hello back. So come on in and let me know you're on and where you're listening from or where you're tuning in from. And let's see how this works. Did you remember to go out and, especially if you live in Georgia or some other state who might be doing the runoff today, did you get to go and cast your ballot for the runoff elections? I was on my way out this morning and just so happened to see that the sign was up at the school where I vote at, and so I turned in right before I was supposed to get on a conference call and cast my vote. So we'll see how that turns out, maybe before the end of the night. But anyway, enough about that. I am going to go ahead and get started because I don't want to keep you long. I hope that you had a great weekend and that your week is off to a great start. I am Vashana Weatherspoon, career strategist and excellence accelerator, helping women who feel frustrated in their careers to emerge from stuck and surge to their next level of success. I'm also the host of the podcast, the Know Your Worth Career Podcast, and it's centered around helping women who are, of course, stuck and frustrated in their careers to get out of that stuckness and to get on to their next level. And that's partly what I'm going to be talking about tonight. But as you know, I'm here tonight and just about every night, as a matter of fact, talking to you about just different things that matter to women as it relates to careers so that we can have careers that we're happy with, that we're fulfilled with, that pays us well, that promotes us if that's what we want. And if we don't want any of that, then just to help us to find that fulfillment that we all want from a job that we have to spend 8.5 hours a day working at. And sometimes longer, depending on what your position is. So I want to get into it. I'm excited about this topic. Actually, it's something that I've been thinking about for the last couple of days. And I want to have some discussions about it. But before I do, I want to give you an opportunity to like and share this video, tag a friend, invite a friend or a coworker or a family member who could benefit from this kind of information, and especially who likes this kind of discussion. So to lean in or not to lean in, that's the question. Oprah Winfrey has this saying where she says that you can have it all, just not at the same time. And I must tell you, when I first heard that, I was like, what the heck is she talking about? You can have whatever you want to have. But that was just me thinking in a different way than she was speaking it and meaning it, of course. But nevertheless, I think that's it's really true, and that's what we're really going to be talking about when we're talking about leaning in. You know, Sheryl Sandberg had this book called Lean In, and she talks to women, telling them about how they can be successful in this workspace that's dominated by men, like she did. Especially if you're interested in climbing the corporate ladder and getting to the C-suites and the CEOs and the executives and all these different things of organizations. And so, you know, it's really based upon information that you would give men. You know, they lean in, they put everything into their jobs and into their careers. And then she steps back a little bit just to notice there are differences in men and women. And so some of the things that a man might do that might be perfectly fine in a workplace, if a woman does it, is perceived a different way. Anyway, if you have not read the book, it's a great book to read if you are someone who is interested in up leveling your career. And if you are that person who's really ambitious and really chasing, getting to the top the fastest, and all that kind of stuff, it's a great book to read. Actually, it's a great book to read anyway. But what I am, let's see. But what I'm going to be talking about is not necessarily wanting to get to the top. If you do, that's fine. If you don't, that's fine too. Because I think it's okay to place priority on your family when you need to. And then to become more career focused and ambitious when you decide you want to. I mean, it's your career. You can do whatever you want to do with it. In terms of the way I see it, which is a big reason why I say that I'm helping women to find their next level in their careers, because I realize that what is, the next level for one person, and I've said this recently, is not necessarily what another person wants. So it's so highly individualized in terms of what we find appealing in a career, what brings us satisfaction in a career. And I mean, a lot of people just go directly to the money, but it has to be something more than just the money. Especially, I mean, to me, when I have to go somewhere and I have to sit there all day long, because most jobs have requirements about hours that you have to spend while you're there. It's important to me to be able to spend that time in a way that I'm doing something where I feel like I'm contributing, where I feel like I have purpose, what I'm doing has meaning, and that I get some sort of enjoyment out of. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying that you're going to enjoy everything that you do all day long. If you find that job, let me know, because I know there are a lot of people out there looking for it. That's a hot commodity, let me tell you. But anyway, let's go right ahead on, because I'll get off on a tangent on this one, as you can see. So, having priorities in your career, prioritizing your family over your career at certain points, and then flipping it the other way at other points is perfectly fine. In other words, defining your career and your career success on your own terms, meaning not based upon what society says you should do or what anybody else says you should do, what you should like, but based upon what's best for you. Now, if we're going to be real about it, we all know that even now in 2018, with all the progress that we've made, the traditional roles of men and women and the distribution of labor in the household is not equal. It never has been, and it probably won't be for a very long time to come. In fact, this is funny because I was at the grocery store a couple of nights ago, and I was watching this young couple. And they were going through the store, and I actually think I saw them when they came in the store. Wasn't really paying a whole bunch of attention to them initially, but as we maneuvered our way around, they caught my attention. But there was the husband, and they had a baby, and it was the mom, and of course she was minding the baby in the shopping cart, and then she was helping to shop and buy the groceries and make sure that they had everything that they needed. Even up until the point in the checkout line, she was still tending to the baby. The baby started crying, and so she was doing all of these things. They got the groceries all bagged up. I think he might have rolled it out, but she was right there rolling it with them. They got to the back of the car. She ran around and she put the baby in the back of the car. I don't even know if she strapped the baby in. She did it so quickly. And she was right back around at the back of that car, helping her husband to unload those groceries, to take that shopping cart back to where it needed to be, and to, get the groceries in the car. And that's the part that I saw. But let's just imagine what happened when they got home. She ran and got the baby out the car. She helped him get the groceries out the car. She put the groceries up. She cooked dinner. She washed the dishes and, all this kind of stuff. And when we think about it, it's kind of funny. It's kind of comical in some ways when we think about, women not having even though we're doing the same work in the workplace, we're not getting paid the same amount of money. We're not getting the promotional opportunities. And then someone is telling you to lean in. So you're leaning in at work and then you're leaning in at home. And don't get me wrong, because I love the book Lean In. Nothing about it. I'm not saying anything bad about it. I like the book. But I'm just being realistic and just thinking, what if, if you keep leaning in so hard everywhere you go, sooner or later, something has got to give, right? I think about when I was younger and I was married, a married working mother of 2 small children. I almost burned myself out. Really, I mean, literally. I was jumping up, going to work every day, and I had a very demanding job. I was coming home, I was cooking, I was cleaning, I was washing, I was tending to babies and all of this kind of stuff. And that stuff wears you out. It literally took me probably till my kids got about 10 or 12 to rest up from all of that traumatic experience. And luckily, before they got to that point, luckily, from my perspective, I got a divorce. And when I got my divorce, that was the first time I ever had a chance to rest, when the kids went with their father on his weekend. Otherwise, I was, it was like I was kind of like a slave, if I could be quite frank about it. Because, you have so many things that need to be done, and you are, in most cases, we as women are the ones who have to make sure it gets done. In fact, I was talking about this whole topic. It reminds me, and what even made me think about it so hard, as I have been doing for the last couple of days, is that I was listening to something where they were talking about Michelle Obama, and she is promoting her book, Becoming. And she was being very candid when she was talking about how it's not enough to lean in because that SHIT doesn't work. And some people were very offended because she used the S-bomb. But the majority of the people just really appreciated the fact that she could be real about it and not pretend that it was something that is not. And so, of course, I can relate to that too. And I can really appreciate the fact that she was honest enough and candid enough to talk about it and to put it so that people could really understand it. And of course, everybody went crazy in the audience from what I hear. But she's right, especially when everything else is unequal. It's kind of insane to think that, you as a woman, you come and you lean into your career and you have all these other things that you're also having to be responsible for. Some people do it well, but they have help. You have to have some help. You have to have something to help to balance out all of the different responsibilities that we have as women. Can anybody relate to this? Because I know I'm not the only one who has had this experience as a professional woman, pursuing her career, having a family, being a mother, and a whatever other role that you play. I'm pretty sure I'm not the only one, right? But anyway, all that to say that success looks different for everyone. And because we are so different, it's great when we are in a position where we have the choice of whether or not we want to lean in or if we want to pull back based upon what the need dictates at the time. So depending upon what success looks like for you, you have to create goals that fit your definition of that success. So what's more important to me, like I said, is to be in a position where you can get to do work that matters to you and work that you enjoy, but that also pays your bills, because that's important. It is important. Don't get me wrong. I don't think that's the most important thing, but that it is important that you are able to do something that you love and to be able to take care of yourself while you do it. So anyway, unlike every other night, I don't even have specific tips that I'm going to share with you. All I want to share with you is just to not feel pressured to be and to do and to have what you think other people, think that you need to have or be or to do. To be courageous enough to create what your success looks like on your own terms for yourself, because what somebody else's success is might not be what makes you happy. And you need to know, when I talk about moving to your next level, I really do mean your next level and not someone else's. And that's my takeaway, and that's the bottom line, because the only person that you have to be concerned about pleasing is yourself, especially when it comes to your livelihood, your work that you do, and how you contribute to the world. Now, if you are, get ready for it, if you are one of these women who is trying to figure out what that next level looks like for them, then I have a special offer for you, of course. It's my Career on Fire, 3 Steps to Your Next Level e-course, where we really get into some nuts and bolts of how to figure out what that next step looks like for you. So the way that you can grab your absolutely free copy is jumping over to my website at www.bashanaweatherspoon.com and putting in your details and getting your nice little copy in your hands. And you can go ahead and get started tonight figuring out what that next level looks like for you. Now, that's all that I have for you tonight. Of course, I'll be back tomorrow. But for tonight, I just want to give you one last opportunity to like and share this broadcast. Thank you, Nicole Delmore, for sharing, and thank you for joining. I did see that. I'll see you next time. Have a great night. Talk to you soon. Bye-bye.